Hello! In this video, we're going to talk about indirect or reported speech. We use the reported or the indirect speech to say what someone else said previously using a conjunction with that. It's not direct speech. Direct speech is when we use quotation marks. Let's have an example. Imagine we have a timeline. That's where we are now. And imagine a week ago, last week, here, Julie said, I want to go skiing. So Julie says, I want to go skiing tomorrow. If now we want to say what Julie said last week, we have two choices. Either we use direct speech, in which case we'll say, Julie said, I want to go skiing tomorrow. So this is very easy. You don't have to think about it. You just write the sentence she said between quotation marks. Julie said, I want to go skiing tomorrow. Or we could have indirect speech. And here we would say, Julie said that. So here we have a conjunction using that. Julie said that. So when you have indirect speech, you're not using the words she said exactly. They change because, well, you're not Julie. So if you write I here, it's you, it's not Julie. So for Julie, you have to change the subject. So Julie said that, well, it's not I, it's Julie, so she. And want is in the present at that point in time. So last week, she used the present here. But as time passed, now this is in the past. So instead of using the present simple in your sentence, you're going to use the past simple. So Julie said that she wanted, then to go skiing is the same thing. But tomorrow, that's not true anymore. Tomorrow is here. That's tomorrow. But now we're now. So it's not tomorrow anymore. Imagine here she went skiing on that day. It was the day after the day she talked about it. So Julie said that she wanted to go skiing the following day or the day after. And you finish your sentence with a full stop. So in direct speech, you don't have to think about anything. You just write the exact same words that the person said using quotation marks. But in indirect speech, you'll have to change a certain number of things. You have to change the subject because it's not the same person speaking anymore. On change le point de vue, donc on doit changer le sujet. Comme on change de point de vue et aussi des fois de moment temporel, là on a changé. La phrase, elle a été dite la semaine passée et maintenant, on est une semaine plus tard. Donc, le point de vue change au niveau temporel, c'est plus la même chose. Du coup, on doit changer aussi le temps du verbe. Là, le temps du verbe, il était au présent. On doit le mettre au passé parce que maintenant, cette phrase-là, c'est dans le passé qu'elle avait été dite. And then, to go skiing tomorrow. Est-ce que ce tomorrow ici correspond encore à notre demain? Bah non, ça ne correspond plus. Ça se pourrait qu'il corresponde, mais ça ne correspond plus. Donc quand ça ne correspond plus par rapport à notre point de vue au moment où on redit la phrase, eh ben, il faut faire le changement. Donc là, pour dire demain, demain, ça serait ici notre demain, mais ça ne joue plus. Donc on dit le jour d'après, the following day, ou the day after. Donc dans du discours rapporté indirect, il y a un certain nombre de choses qui changent. Donc, faites attention. Regardez, est-ce qu'il y a un changement de la personne qui parle? Est-ce qu'il y a un changement de moment dans le temps? Est-ce qu'il y a un changement d'endroit? Il se peut que oui, il se peut que non. S'il y a un changement, il faut effectuer les changements correspondants dans la phrase, comme on l'a vu précédemment. Si on a un changement de personne qui parle, il faut changer le sujet. Si on a un changement de moment dans le temps, il faut adapter les mots qui disent quand ça arrive, pour que ce soit encore juste par rapport à notre nouveau point de vue. Quand il y a un changement de moment dans le temps, il faut aussi changer les formes verbales. Du coup, normalement, on retourne un cran en arrière. Et s'il y a un changement de lieu, il faut l'adapter aussi pour que de notre point de vue actuel, ça soit juste. Regardons ensemble un certain nombre de mots qui changent d'une phrase dite par une personne à un moment donné à une autre dans le futur quand il y a changement de moment dans le temps ou un changement d'endroit. S'il y a changement et que vous aviez du present simple dans votre phrase, utilisez du past simple. Si vous aviez du present continuous dans votre phrase, utilisez du past continuous. Si vous aviez du present perfect ou du past simple, utilisez du past perfect. Si vous aviez will, utilisez would. Si vous aviez can, utilisez could. Si vous aviez may, utilisez might. Si vous aviez would ou could, il n'y a pas de changement. Si vous aviez de l'impératif, ajoutez to devant l'infinitif. Si vous aviez une phrase et qu'il y a changement de moment dans le temps, les mots qui indiquent un moment dans le temps peuvent changer selon le point de vue. Par exemple, next week pourrait devenir the next week ou this week. Last week pourrait devenir the week before ou last week si rien n'a changé. Yesterday deviendrait the day before. Tomorrow deviendrait the next day. Ou selon quoi, si c'est arrivé hier, tomorrow devient aujourd'hui, today. Now, dans le passé, deviendrait at that time, maintenant. Today, dans le passé, deviendrait that day, maintenant. Et si l'endroit change, here deviendrait there, par exemple. Il y a aussi les déterminants qui peuvent changer. This se rapporte à quelque chose qui est là, qu'on peut toucher en ce moment présent. Si ce n'est pas le cas, il faut le transformer en the. Dans le discours indirect, on a vu qu'on utilise une conjonction avec that. Après des verbes comme said ou think qui sont très courants pour introduire un discours indirect, on peut ne pas écrire le that. C'est possible. On pourrait dire Julie said she wanted to go skiing the day after. On n'est pas obligé de le mettre. If you use a reporting verb, so said is a reporting verb, for example. If you use a reporting verb, which is written in the present, the future, or the present perfect, you don't have to change the tenses in your sentence. Let's write this down. Du coup, à ce moment-là, ça facilite beaucoup les choses. Par contre, si votre reporting verb est au passé, il y aura un changement dans le temps forcément. Regardons maintenant comment former des questions dans le discours indirect. Let's look at how to form reported questions. So in reported questions, there are no question marks. Il n'y a pas de point d'interrogation. There is no inversion and no auxiliary. Yes/no questions are reported with if or whether. We don't use say or tell in reported questions. We use ask. Let's look at some examples. First, let's look at WH questions. Imagine this question. Tom says, "Where is the lake?" The reported question would be, Tom asked where the lake was. As I have a reported verb in the past simple, I have to change the tense of my sentence. So instead of having is, I write was in the past simple. Here I have the present simple, and I have a past reporting verb. I change the tense, and I write the verb in the past simple. So, in Tom's sentence, we had the verb and the subject. Subject and the verb are inverted, but in the reported question, we don't have an inversion between the subject and the verb. we have the subject and the verb, and here we have the verb and the subject. So we don't have the inversion. We used ask as the reporting verb instead of tell or say, as he asked the question. Let's imagine Jim and Tom said, when are you having dinner? The reported question would be, they asked, when? You changes as it's not the same person who's speaking. So they asked when we were having dinner. Let's now look at yes-no questions. Imagine a group of people asked me yesterday, do you like skiing? If I want to report this question, I would say, they asked. Ils m'ont demandé à moi, so they asked me. Then, in a yes-no question, I have to use if or whether to report my question. So they asked me if or whether I. So they asked me. Ils m'ont demandé à moi. Donc le you, ça devient moi, I. Et là, c'était hier. Du coup, like is in the present simple. Eh ben, on va l'écrire au past simple. If I liked skiing. Do you like skiing? They asked me if or whether I liked skiing. Okay, so I hope you understood how to report questions and to report speech in general. So now let's have a live example to illustrate this. Have a very nice day and see you soon. Goodbye.